Corporal Tagle's actions on November 18th, 2018, I think you will see that he has met each and every one of these three criteria, and that it is fitting and proper that we recognize him. On November 18th, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, or prior to November 18th, they had issued a warrant for the arrest of one DeLand Parker for attempted murder in a shooting he was accused of earlier in the month of November. Mr. Parker was a fugitive and was being sought by law enforcement for this shooting. At approximately 3:15 p.m., the Lake County Sheriff's Office notified the Volusia County 911 Center that they had developed information that Parker was operating a gold-colored vehicle and was en route to the DeLand Springs area. A Volusia County deputy spotted Parker operating a gold-colored vehicle as he came southbound into Volusia County from Lake County on US Highway 17 near State Route 40. Before the deputy could get turned around to attempt to stop him, Parker swerved toward the deputy in an attempt to ram the deputy's marked unit head on. The deputy was able to avoid being struck and ran off the road. The deputy then began a pursuit south on Highway 17 toward DeLand Springs. Other deputies joined in the pursuit and were able to deploy stop sticks, causing Parker to come to a stop in the center median on Route 17 near Golden Hills Boulevard. Parker exited his vehicle and began shooting at Deputy Moss, who was the first car in the pursuit behind him. As Deputy Moss was trying to take cover, Deputy Blum drove his marked vehicle in between Parker and Deputy Moss. Deputy Blum returned fire at Parker in an attempt to protect his partner and himself. Parker turned and ran south with gun in his hand at about the same time as Corporal Tony Tagle arrived on the scene. Corporal Tagle had been off duty on his way into work that evening to work out and then attend a mandatory departmental firearms and training qualification. Corporal Tagle had been southbound on Route 17 when he heard the transmissions on his police radio of the pursuit and then saw it in his rearview mirror. Corporal Tagle made a U-turn headed back northbound as Parker was coming to a stop in the median. Corporal Tagle observed Parker exit his vehicle and begin shooting at the deputies. As Parker turned to run, gun in hand, Corporal Tagle returned fire on Parker in an effort to protect his fellow officers, himself, the public, and prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect who had just committed a forcible felony on multiple law enforcement officers and was wanted, as I said, for another forcible felony, attempted murder. The actions of Corporal Tagle meet all three of our standards for the Medal of Valor. It's also important to note for the public that both his use of deadly force and Deputy Blum's use of deadly force were determined to be lawful uses of deadly force under Florida state statutes governing the use of force and deadly force in effecting an arrest. The entire incident was independently investigated by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and their findings were reviewed by the State Attorney's Office, 7th Circuit, who determined that both Corporal Tagle's actions and Deputy Blum's actions were in keeping with the law. No law enforcement officer goes to work wanting to use deadly force in the commission of their duty, but every law enforcement officer must be prepared if and when that time comes. Corporal Tagle was prepared and was ready on that day, November 18th, 2018, and I believe his actions saved the lives of fellow law enforcement officers, civilians who happened to find themselves in that area at that particular day and time, and his own life. Corporal Tagle was and has been the consummate professional through the investigation and in the aftermath of the investigation. So it is with great pride that I can award Corporal Tony Tagle with the Medal of Valor for actions of bravery and courage, which were in keeping with the mission of the DeLand Police Department, which reads in part that we will safeguard the lives of the people that we serve. In his actions, Corporal Tagle also displayed our core values of duty, honor, courage, integrity, caring, and respect. And his actions were in keeping with the highest traditions of law enforcement. Corporal Tagle, it's my great honor to bestow upon you this certificate and award for the Medal of Valor. Your award reads, in recognition of your bravery, courage, and selfless service during an armed conflict that took place on November 19th, 2018, your actions provided protection for innocent bystanders, fellow officers, and are in keeping with the highest tradition of police service. Congratulations.